next week. Starting out, I want to say hello to the Facebook group and everybody listening in Radio Land. And very special shout out to my man, my DJ Pun. Go ahead and drop a bomb for yourself. Oh. Well, today we got our guest speaker, and I'll let him introduce himself. Preston. How you doing, Preston?
I'm doing all right, and yourself?
I'm good, man. So today you're here to talk a little bit about options, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right. So give us a little background about how you got started in the stocks and how you eventually ventured off to options as well.
Well, my first interest in stocks began around 2011 when I was a senior in college. I joined this investment group, and that's where my interest really began. And we entered a competition with about 15 of the top universities in the country. So they gave each university $50,000 real money to invest. And my university won in first place. And, we got the money, and they also gave us a trip to Chicago Stock Exchange. So that really jump started my interest in stocks.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. So if I'm hearing correctly, your university gave you $50,000 in real money to invest?
No,
Oh.
to be clear, it was a investment challenge with the Tennessee Valley Authority. So they didn't give us this.
Right.
I don't know how that works in terms of the money, but we had $50,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you guys won. So how many of you guys were in that group? Was it a whole class or was it just like you and a couple other people?
Well, there was a few people in the group, but far as like the main people was actually picking stuff was like 3 or 4.
Okay. Well, that's super interesting. And I'm man, shout out to the university. What university? I know it was the HBC. What did you say? I don't want to miss. What was it?
The name of it is Mississippi University for Women.
Oh, okay, cool.
But they accept me in there.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So, did you? Okay. I'm going to give you the mic and let you talk about what you want to talk about, and of course we'll have some questions from me as well as the group. So just go ahead and give us a brief overview of options and what we can do and how you like them, or those basic things.
Okay. Well, for anybody who's listening that's just starting to trade options or get interested in options, I can tell you myself, I'm relatively new to trade options myself. I started like maybe 3 or 4 months ago. I didn't go through any kind of training seminar or anything like that. I just read a little literature and just started with small positions, and I learned as I went.
Okay, cool. Well, I actually started as well. I'm new too, and I got a couple questions for you, man. So you said you just read some literature. What places did you start? Like what have you read up on, and what did you find most interesting about the places that you read, or do you have a go-to place that you kind of went to?
Well, the thing about it is, one thing, it's different for different people, but one thing I did not do was watch YouTube videos, because one thing I don't like about YouTube videos is the speaker takes too long to get to the point to be,
Yeah.
So it like takes 4 or 5 minutes for them to get to the stuff that I want to hear, so that loses me. So there's this stuff online, but I'm a quick learner when it comes to financial stuff. Basically, I just got the general idea of what options are, and I just went from there.
Okay, so have you had success, or Has it been,
Oh, yeah.
how has it been a ride?
Yeah, before just diving off into options, I was doing really well with stocks.
Mm-hmm.
But once I realized that options can bring much higher returns than the stock, so that's when I said, you know what, let me give this a try, you know.
Gotcha.
So my pre-req for options was being a successful stock picker.
Okay. And I think that's how we all start, because I kind of take a little dip into it as well, but I still got a couple questions. Like for instance, so when let's go for you anyway. Are you doing mostly calls or mostly puts? And can you tell what those are?
Now, right now I'm doing 100% calls, because
Okay.
I really don't like to do puts because I don't like that that coach with puts, you're saying,
Right.
hey, this company is gonna go down and you don't know how far it's gonna go down. But the only time that I do puts is when opposition researchers like publish something bad about a company.
Okay.
And once they post it, I know stock is gonna be down for maybe days or weeks, so that's the only time I do puts. But right now, 100% calls.
Okay. Cool. So when you're looking at the option chain, are you trying to, what are some things that you look for when you're looking at an option chain?
Well, I look at the momentum of the stock, It's like I look at the price, and that's what I primarily look for, is like the price and the momentum, any development that the company has, and also in the past I made mistakes of picking a company that just wasn't good and didn't work out for me. So.
Okay. So one big question that I have, so have you ever executed, because this is where I have an issue with it. I usually just sell it or I end up selling it before the actual option date comes, because I just don't know what's going to happen at that point, because I know that you end up getting that 100, if you can execute it, right, you get that 100, if you have one contract, you get that 100 shares, right? But I just never did it, so I'm like, I usually just end up selling the option. Am I doing myself a disservice if the stock is going super high, or what should I be doing? Because especially if it's up, or if it's down, do I kind of cut my losses early, or what are some ways that you have been doing when you've been doing this?
Me and you, or the same folks, out of all the options that I've sold, I've never exercised an option.
Oh, okay.
I feel like there's more money to be made by selling your contract to somebody else.
Okay.
I don't want to be holding no stock.
Okay, I guess we are in the same boat, man. Because that's crazy. Because I never exercised the option. Because I did a couple. I had maybe a couple, do well. I had one or two that didn't do well, but I tried to, kind of get out the option before it went down too much. And if it's kind of going up and it's skyrocketing, I want to take my profits as soon as possible. So I'm just kind of, I'm new to the game too, so I'm trying to figure out what I should do. And it seems like I'm doing the right thing.
Now, let me ask you something. Do you have like an arbitrary number that you sell your contract, in terms of percentage?
So I will sell the contract if it gets lower than, for me, if it gets lower than 20% return, like if I'm seeing lower than a 20% return, I think I'm probably going a little bit too, being a little bit too conservative. But if I see a 20% drop in that stock or in that option, I usually just cut my losses and sell the contract right then and there. Now,
So,
huh?
And how soon after buying it, once you see that drop, do you sell?
What did you say? Can you say it again?
I said, how soon after you purchase the option, let's say if you purchase it on Monday, and on Tuesday it does a 20% drop, or you sell it right away, or you gonna wait it out longer?
I'm selling it right away. Cause that's my number, man. Like that's like my number. Like I think I'm being a little bit conservative on that. I should hire that number because we're dealing with options here. But
yeah,
in my, I like to set a number and cut my losses as far as that. Now, as far as gains, I kind of do more of a feel. I set what I do is every day that the market is open, I kind of say, okay, I'm willing to lose this much, or if it goes up this much, I'm probably gonna sell. So that's kind of like more of a feel. But as far as like selling, if it reached that hard number, that 20% loss, I'm selling it right then and there.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever regretted?
Okay, so we got.
And then you
still
come back.
So we got Sierra in the building, just walked in. What's up?
Hey everyone, sorry for my tardiness.
Sierra, that is an awesome question. So let me tell you what happened with NIL. So remember my man, it's Ross last week. He told us to get NIL, right? So they beat earnings, right? But they still it wasn't a lot of movement, right? At the beginning, right? So my option expired the 20th, right?
20th is what?
It was Friday.
Friday, yeah.
It was Friday. So right.
Could you say that again?
Okay, so I'm taking. So she asked me, have I ever regretted selling an option early, right? And I'm telling her the story where. Hello. Okay, so I'm telling her the story where it was actually last week. So last week, Anthony Ross was on the show. He was, he was pretty confident about Neo beating earnings and kind of going up a little bit more, right? So, I took heed to that advice and I actually bought a contract on Neo. I only bought one contract, but I bought a contract on Neo. So that the Thursday, I think Wednesday was the earnings Wednesday. Yeah. So Thursday, it wasn't doing much at the beginning of the day. It was kind of like down a little, as a matter of fact. You know what I did?
Yeah.
You know what I did?
You sold.
So
you panicked.
I didn't panic. I just said I just wanted to cut my losses because it didn't do what I thought it would do after the earnings report. And usually what happens, your biggest movement is on earning reports, right?
Well, now you would say that in the past, but now we have seen earnings, they beat it and then it goes down.
Yeah, so that's what happened. So they beat earnings. My expiration date was the 20th, which was Friday.
But you sold a day early.
I sold it Thursday because just like we talked about, I didn't want to exercise my options. So I wanted to kind of see what it did and then sell the contract. Now,
I had one with an expiration date on the 20th as well, but I sold it the week prior. Right before that analyst said that can't be justified at their price. So I sold without those 23%, but I typically sell my options like a week or two before expiration, because that last week the numbers can get real tricky, so anything can happen.
Yeah.
You probably end up in the negative,
Well, let me tell you what happened on this situation. Like that same day, I believe it was, so I'm looking at the chart right now, Thursday. It started off low in like the 40s or whatever, right? Yeah. So I kind of, at the beginning of the day, I kind of just said, okay, whatever, I'm gonna sell it. Then, like a couple hours after I sold it, it went up $2. It went up $2 more extra.
Yeah.
So,
Ross talking about you, right?
He talking about.
I'm reading the comments and Yeah.
What'd he say? Let me what he said.
He said shaky hands and Lamar.
Oh, you know it's all.
This week Neo got at 49.
Yeah, he got it at 49. I just thought it was doing the movement. It did. I thought it was going to do what it was going to do after earnings and just let it ride. So at that point, I was like, okay, it did what it did. It didn't do much. I'm going to sell the contract.
But let me ask you, did you sell at a loss or did you have at least
I had a little game. I had a small game, but it wasn't nothing to ride home about.
Okay.
So I could have got a little bit more, like $200 extra more dollars, you know.
That would
right.
Nice.
You're right. That would have been nice. So I sold at the wrong time, but it's all good because nobody can nobody knows the future. So I did sell it. And I sold it a little too early and shaking my head at me, Anthony. I feel it too, but it's all good. It's all good. It's all fun and game. I learned for next time. Listen to Ross.
He ain't never stood me wrong.
He never stood me wrong.
He
but
got faith in you though, so hey, and your research.
So
was important.
That was my shaking my head moment. We all have those moments where we like. I feel like it's with everybody. You feel like once you sell a stock, it just automatically goes up. That's just how it goes,
Yeah,
But,
but like what I do if I do sell a stock, I instantly remove from my watch list.
Yeah, you don't want to see it. Yeah, you don't want to see it.
It's past, so I made a decision and I deal with it.
Yeah, and that's what I said too. Like, if you gotta live with your decisions and you can't look back. So I sold it at that point. I knew it could go up. I know it could go down. So I was comfortable at that particular time. So I'm okay with that. But it just sucks when you see that, like, dang, I could have got $200 extra more dollars, but it's all good.
Let me ask Preston, did you do an option on Tesla this week?
Hello?
I said, did you do an option on Tesla this week?
No, actually, I took about $2,000 and put it into crypto this week.
Okay. And I know crypto been doing well.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that later. So stay tuned for that. We need you to. We're gonna talk about that later.
I would say I've been more serious about crypto for longer than I've been about stock.
What made you get into crypto first?
Huh?
What made you get serious with crypto?
Now, I started crypto around 2012 when I first started law school, and during this time, nobody around me knew what crypto was.
Bitcoin was like really low at that point. You could have racked up, man.
Exactly. That was without incriminating myself. You could buy different stuff with cryptocurrency, so that's why I took an interest in it. And I held on to some, and I sold it, and I was like, but I used to tell people even back in 2012, hey, you should buy something to go in the future, but everybody laughed at me and thought I was crazy.
Yeah, you know what? Like for me, anyway, I've been telling. This is what happens all the time. I try to tell people the same thing. I tell people don't be too greedy, but don't try. I tell people what I do is $25 a week. It goes into crypto no matter what. Now, you spend that. A lot of people we spend that on lunch.
Yeah.
Easily, right? Yeah. So I'm talking about within a week. So I do it 2 times a week. 2 times a month. So I put, I think $25. So I put $50.
It adds up.
Yeah, it adds up. So basically, what I've been telling my friends a long time. I said, look, I told them when it went down to 5,000. I said, look, y'all need to get into Bitcoin because it's gonna continue to go up. And they were like, oh, for real, blah blah blah. And I had one friend that said, oh yeah, man, he telling the truth. He telling the truth. The other one was like, man, forget it. And I said, look, it's gonna at least. I'm telling you, it's gonna at least get back to its high of 20,000.
So when did you notice that at 5,000? What year was that?
That was recently. So last year it dropped. It dropped down to 5,000. I don't know what happened, but it dropped down to 5,000 at the beginning. Like I think it was the beginning of this year.
Was it
That's
COVID or when?
in March. It went down
March.
to 4,000 something.
See,
Oh, see, you know what? And that was the best time to buy
anything.
anything.
Yeah.
Everything was on sale in March. You know, a lot of people was panicking, taking their money out, and you know, some people like myself, and I know Lamar, we were in the
Yeah, just scooping it up.
like, you know, it was candy.
But you know, like, and I want to tell a story about this. So everybody was like, oh no, and then I had one guy that worked for a bank. He's like, you know, I feel like that's not gonna be money. The government's gonna step in, blah 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 blah. And the funny thing about that is now you're hearing about so many rich people and banks getting into crypto now, right? So it's almost back. It's 18,000. It almost hit 19,000 this week. So what I'm gonna say is, don't be a person that's in this FOMO. Wait, and when it start going up, you're trying to get in. Get in before, because what's gonna happen? I'm pretty sure what's gonna happen is it's gonna hit the high 20,000. It's gonna take another dip.
I have a question. What platform do you use for crypto?
So I use Gemini, and for the easy, like the $25 a week, I use Coinbase. I don't like Coinbase because it's so many fees, but it's easy.
Yeah, their fees are ridiculous.
Yeah, their fees are ridiculous. But so for my large amount of Bitcoin, I have it in Gemini. For just to play Bitcoin, I have it in Coinbase.
Okay, so we have a question from the group. They want to know what cryptocurrency do you trade? That's the question that's coming from Anne Marie.
Okay, so right now I have some Bitcoin, I have some small amount of Ethereum, I have a small amount of XRP, and I have a small amount of Litecoin. My main one is Bitcoin. The rest of it is just kind of just throwing. I would focus on Bitcoin if I'm anybody else, but I just kind of got those other coins just in case it's for play.
Okay, and Preston, please feel free to answer that question too. What cryptocurrency?
Okay, at this present moment, I'm staying away from Bitcoin, you know, because I think the altcoins are going to raise higher than Bitcoin in terms of percentage, you know. So right now, I have more Ripple and Ethereum than anything.
Okay. So you're real into. Do you know about the fork that's gonna happen? Do you know a lot about that? The Ethereum fork. I don't know if it's Ethereum or it's something. I think it's Ethereum 2.0 or something like that. I don't know.
I've been hearing about it.
Yeah. So what's gonna happen is, it's gonna be like a fork or something. I'm not sure. I'm not a big Ethereum guy. Like I said, I only have a little bit of it. But I was just wondering if you knew about that. It's something called Ethereum 2.0. Chat, you guys can look that up. It's something that's supposed to happen very soon. So I was hearing about that, and I was kind of okay. Let me get some Ethereum going on.
Yeah, I've been hearing about it, but I haven't really looked into it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, so.
But Ripple is the wave right now.
Yeah. So okay. So let's talk about that. So. All right, XRP, that's Ripple, for guys that don't know. So, why did it go up this weekend so much? Because it took a huge bull run. And the only kind of news that I saw something about somebody doing airdrop and giving away free XRP. But I didn't see much. So, in my opinion, I'm feeling like this is back in 2017 where stuff is just going up stuff is just going up for no reason, and we're gonna be in a position to where your mama, your cousin, your auntie, they're just gonna be calling you. How do you do this? How do you do this? By that time, it's too late. But go ahead.
Now, difference between this bull run and the previous bull run is more corporate people are getting into it, so I think the run is going to be more sustainable than the previous one because, you got people like PayPal who are now selling and buying crypto and all these other companies, so I think the run is going to be for a while.
You're right. So let me tell you what I think, and then you hear all this news about how A lot of like the third richest person in Mexico, he talks about how he has 10% of his 10% of his portfolio in bank and Bitcoin. There are so many hedge funds that's adding Bitcoin. And remember back in the day, back in 2017, it was so many people saying, no, this is just for buying drugs on the web. This is just for untrackable. Like what I do think that is very positive information is that we're hearing all of these big corporations, putting their dollars behind Bitcoin. You got PayPal that bought up a whole bunch of Bitcoin that's now making it available for their people and letting you buy stuff in Bitcoin and transferring it into dollars. You got the guy in Mexico. You got all these different banks that are just buying up Bitcoin. And what I do want to say is the thing about Bitcoin is it's a finite amount. So I just think about gold. Like what happens when all of this stuff, if too many people get into the market and it's harder and harder to get Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or whatever, it's harder and harder to get in. Like what happens to the price at that point? So it's gonna skyrocket. It's gonna skyrocket, right? So that's my thing. I don't think you should put all your money in there. But you should definitely start averaging in and putting a little bit in there because it has so much potential to kind of skyrocket.
Now, would you say cryptocurrency is more volatile than stock?
Absolutely.
Way more.
Absolutely. That's why I think you should do a small amount, like what I said. If like whatever you spend on lunch, like whatever you fit, like if you put away $25 a week on lunch, just put another $25 on Bitcoin a week or a month or whatever, and then because you never know, because that $25 could end up being, it could be $250, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So yeah. So
would you encourage newbies to invest into cryptocurrency, like if they just starting out with trading?
What do you think?
What do you think, Preston? I said, would you encourage someone that's new?
Well, like he said, crypto is not for the sake of art, One day it could be a 50%, and the next day it could be down 50%. So I think it's about your risk tolerance and how much are you willing to lose and wait for it to go back up. So, but when I first started off, I started a fixed position because it was already down. So, I kept it for a long time, but it all depends on your investment strategy as well, Like, over the weekend, I put $3,000 in Ethereum just to see how much it'll go up by tomorrow, and so far I made like $400, So.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's all up to you.
Well, just to piggyback off that, like Preston said, it is so volatile, and it could technically, and like stocks, we're not talking about a company here, right? This is something that somebody can say, something can happen tomorrow, and they ban Bitcoin, and it just plummets, right? So that could happen. So what I would say is, if you're putting more than 10% of what you've already got in stocks, you shouldn't do it, because like Preston said, this thing it could be up 50% one day, it can be down 50% the next day, and then you looking at us like, oh man, they told us about you. Don't do it. Just put a small amount because of the possibilities of what could happen, and you don't want to be, and like we said, Bitcoin has a finite amount. So what could happen is not even talking about buying stuff and making it a currency. What could happen is somebody buys it, or it gets so popular that they buy up all of the Bitcoin, right? Available. That is going to make it very, very lucrative, I would say, because you have something that somebody else really can't get.
A set amount, like, okay, so it's a set volume,
Yes.
and depending on, okay.
So the last Bitcoin will be mined. I have to look it up. The last Bitcoin.
So while you're looking that up, we do have a question from the group, and Preston, you can answer this question, or Mark. Trey wants to know, what do people mean by crypto mining or Bitcoin mining?
You want to answer that, Preston?
What was the question?
What do people mean by crypto mining or Bitcoin mining?
So basically, I think that if you have like a certain, some kind of specialized computer that you can actually create or unlock Bitcoin of your own, but because back in the day, it was much easier to mine Bitcoin, but now it's pretty much impossible to do because so many have been mined already, and there's like so much other stuff going on, but it's nothing that the average person can do anymore.
So basically, what it is like a computer is working.
Yeah.
A computer is working like very complex mathematical code, right? Now, once that it gets harder and harder as the further along it goes, right? So what happens the harder and harder it is, the more electricity it costs. So it's kind of weird. Like your computer is working in overdrive just to solve this code, and then like he said, the most people now, you can't do it unless you have some really intense computer power.
You would have to have like a room full of servers.
Yeah.
It'll take a long time just to mine even the smallest amount of income.
Right. So the normal person couldn't do it at this point, but back in the day you could. You can have like you got a small computer running, and then you'll just have you'll just have a high electricity bill. But normally what would happen is the high electricity bill will offset an amount of Bitcoin that you have because it was, Bitcoin is worth so much money.
It just sounds
it's just too complicated.
It's
but,
too much for me. I have to stay out of it. I stick to my boring stocks.
But
whatever.
what I will say, currently the total number of mined Bitcoin in existence is 18 million. That number will cap at 21 million, but it won't cap until 2140. So that's around the time that it's gonna be like the last Bitcoin. Like, of course, none of us are gonna be alive at that point. I mean, unless we got. But as you see, like most of the Bitcoin has been mined. So you see how hard it becomes to. You see how hard it becomes to get. The more Bitcoin it is, the harder it is to mine because it's only like 5 more million to mine, but it's gonna take until that 2140. So you can tell that it's harder and harder to get mined. Now, but what that says, if it's only 21 million Bitcoin, right? Think about how many millionaires it is in the world, right? It's more than 21, right? Way more than 21, right? So, if you own one Bitcoin, and then it gets to a point where everybody's in Bitcoin, everybody's trying to get a Bitcoin, right? Everybody's trying to get to that illustrious one Bitcoin. And they can't do it. That some analysts say it has the possibility of getting to $1 million one day. I've seen low end $300,000. I've seen high end $1 million. I don't know, Preston. What have you seen? I said, what have you seen? I've seen like low end people projecting a couple years from now a Bitcoin could be worth $300,000.
Well, the thing about it is, as much as I love crypto, it's kind of hard to predict where it's going to be, but pretty much any report you read saying, it's going to be 50, 100,000, but at the end of the day, no one really knows.
Yeah, nobody knows. Nobody knows.
So
But it would be nice if it was.
Yeah, it would definitely would be nice. It definitely would be nice.
So Trey also stated one of his biggest concerns is the handling fees and the transaction fees being so high. So if you're contributing to $25, how much of that is going towards your Bitcoin when you take away all the fees?
When you're buying Bitcoin, there's really no fees to buy it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it happens, where all the fees happen when you try to sell it, or if I try to, I'm not sure if you get a transfer fee.
No, you said transaction fees.
Oh yeah,
Coinbase charge.
Transaction.
So
how much do they? How much is it if you're trying to cash out?
So that's why I say don't do Coinbase. I like Gemini. It's
Yeah.
far less transactional fees than Coinbase. Coinbase is much easier, but it comes with a price and when you're trying to sell it. So that's why I got my large amount in Gemini. Let me see Gemini's transactional fee. But Gemini, in my opinion, is harder to get into it. But you have the less fees.
What do you mean harder? Like, is there an exclusive society? How is it harder?
So,
like harder to understand? Wait on this?
No. So with Gemini, I had to do a wire transfer to get my money in Gemini, right? For Coinbase, all I had to do was link my bank account,
okay.
right? So I think that comes into a situation. So.
And is that all the time for Gemini? Do you always have to do a wire transfer, or is it just the first time?
I'm not sure. I haven't did it in a while. Like I said, I did it one time, and then now it's just like I just do Coinbase for my small amounts because it's easier. I know I'm going to be charged more in Coinbase, but I think I got my larger amount. So if I ever really need to cash out, I'm not going to be charged as much as when I do cash out in Coinbase.
Okay, got it.
So it says the Gemini charge is 0.50%. So that's like not zero. Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
how much you
0.50.
Yeah, 0.5. Okay.
So let's see how about Coinbase. What Coinbase?
Okay.
So
what?
No.
What?
So $2.99 being charged for transactions between $50 and $100. However, larger transactions are variable charge percentage fee from 1.5%, so a full percent higher.
I don't know if I like that.
Yes. So imagine if you're trying to cash out your $20,000. What is
pay it back?
So 1.5% is like $250 for a 25,000 Bitcoin. So you don't want to pay that if you know what I'm saying. So
depending on how many times you try to dibble it down, like every time you try to
every
get
time
a profit, you're gonna have to pay them.
Yeah.
Okay. So Rel wants to know: is it better to get gold or crypto?
I say crypto.
It depends.
It depends.
Gold historically has been more conservative and safe. Even if the dollar is going to frenzy, gold is still going to be at a stable price of maybe even higher, Like when the pandemic first broke out, gold went through the roof, because people was uncertain as to what was going to happen. So everybody went rushed towards gold. But in the long term, I think gold is equal bit.
I think gold is kind of like a safe haven against. It's like a hedge.
Commodities that really don't depreciate.
Yeah.
Gold is valuable, but it's for a stock.
Right.
You know.
It's like, for me, gold is like what happens is when people feel uncertain about what the dollar's gonna do or they go to gold. Right, they go to gold because it's something physical that you can hold. But what a lot of people say is Bitcoin is like the digital gold, right? So I don't have to have that. I don't have to have that. And then it's a finite amount. Like for gold,
Yeah.
it is technically a finite amount, but there's always gold sitting there. Like when you know how much we don't know how much gold is out there, but we definitely know how much Bitcoin is out there. So what my thing is for the possibility, right? I think Bitcoin has a better possibility of kind of surging because of that finite. So think about something, right? If I have something that for PS5, if I have something that everybody wants but cannot get their hands on, what's going to happen?
You're gonna hike up the price.
Hike up the price.
Supply and demand.
Right. So the same thing that was happening to Bitcoin. I mean, the same thing that's happening to those PS5s right now. People are buying it for $400 something and they're selling it for $1,000, right?
25 or something.
So how is that happening? It's because they can't get their hands on it, so they're willing to pay more price. Now, with Bitcoin being a finite amount, that's what has my mind going. Is once we hit that amount to where it is hard to get it, what will happen? You know, so that's my thing. Again, but I'm just, don't take my advice on it. Make sure you do your own research.
So we're gonna wrap up Bitcoin,
Yeah, okay.
but Trey did say thanks, but based on those facts,
He passed it?
scared, yeah.
Okay.
Right
Cool.
now.
Hey, just get a little bit though.
I'm with you, Trey. It's volatile. The 1.5% got me like, no.
Just get a little bit now. Just get just a little bit.
What would you say a little bit? What's a little bit? What's your dollar amount for a little bit?
Like I said, right now I'm doing $25 a week. Now, do $10 a month. Do $10 a month. You can handle that, right?
Yeah.
Just do it because
Just see where it goes.
what happens? Because who cares if you lose that, right? You lose it anyway by doing stuff like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Now, just think about it. If this stuff happens to where people can't get their hands on it, what's gonna happen? It's gonna skyrocket. So just for that possibility, I say get you a small amount that you can handle, something, whatever your money, dollar sign that you can say, I can throw away that and I'm cool with it, do it because you don't know the possibility of what can happen.
All right. Okay, so if we're gonna switch over, I think we jumped in with crypto, but hey, we handled that one. The question would be, holiday season is approaching with stocks. What stocks do you think are going to do well? I think your delivery services, all of them will do well. UPS, FedEx. If you're an entrepreneur like myself, we know USPS made rates go up higher to ship out packages for that effect around October until December after the holiday season. So they're definitely getting their money, especially with COVID. Everybody's doing online shopping.
Yeah, so what do you say, UPS?
Yeah, UPS. I would say your delivery services, FedEx.
So
I know Walmart.
yeah, so those stocks are excellent stocks. Walmart is doing excellent things. I think they're doing excellent things by getting into competition with Amazon. Like they are stepping their digital service side way up.
Yeah, so much going on.
Yeah.
Like they offering like same day delivery.
Yeah, they're doing it excellent. And then their numbers just came out. They were awesome. I think they're I don't know if this is Walmart because I can't look at my phone, but I think it is. So their revenue is up 37%.
Walmart, WMC, you look at that ticker?
I can't see it. It's on. I can't see it. I think it's Walmart. I'm pretty sure this is Walmart.
Oh my Lord.
Net income is up 11%. So the only thing that's kind of concerning is their net profit margin went down a little bit, but everything else is in the green. Cash on hand has went up so much, and I just like what they're doing as far as what they're doing, trying to compete with Amazon with their Walmart Plus, with their pickup service. They're doing an excellent job.
What about I haven't looked, but what about Target? You know?
Yeah, Target killing it. Target is killing it, and they just had a collaboration with Ulta as well. They're gonna
that's what's up.
so they're gonna put some Ulta stores in there, and I saw what they're doing as far as you know, the stores that were hit hard during the Black Lives Matter movement, they are focusing on what could be the better, like how could we serve this community. So that was excellent that I saw that they're actually, you know, even though they had, you know, some rioters in there, they're trying to do what they can and kind of, so that won't happen again, so they can kind of better serve the black community or, you know, any type, you know, that type of community. But Target is excellent. They're doing excellent as well. So I love what Target is doing as far as the stock.
Okay, so let me, I think I must have missed Anne Marie's question, but she just posted, it's about Bitcoin, so, but it's okay, we can go back a little bit. So, she said last year there was a Bitcoin theft on one of the platforms. Because there's a finite amount, if one goes you know, tries to steal your Bitcoin, you're out of luck. That is different from a stock. If someone hacks your TD Ameritrade account, they're gonna give your money back. So what are your thoughts on that? If someone goes in and take your Bitcoin, I have seen stuff like that on social media.
So what I'm going to say about that is there are ways that you can prevent that. So you don't have to hold your cryptocurrency on a platform like Coinbase or Gemini. There's something called a ledger that you can purchase. You can put it on there, you can put it in a safe, you can put it wherever it lives on that. And then, but I'm a little concerned about that because I lose that.
How much is this ledger?
It's not expensive at all. Let me see. Bitcoin ledger. How much is a Bitcoin ledger?
And so it's like a safe deposit box?
Yeah.
And is it insured?
As long as you have that, you have a code, you have 3 different loan codes that if the only person that can get into it is the person with those codes.
But you scared that you gonna lose.
I'm scared that I'll lose that.
Give it to your wife.
But once you lose that, you lost your Bitcoin. So they're talking about there's a lot of different people who, like back in the day, that they lost their Bitcoin because they lost it on a computer or whatever. But I'm looking at these ledgers. I see some for anywhere from $45 to $100. So.
Okay. All right.
They call that cold storage.
They call it what? What'd you say?
Cold storage.
Cold storage. Cold storage. See, if you're concerned about people hacking your Bitcoin, get the cold storage. Like.
Okay, so Preston, do you so back to the question I had asked, because we got to try to move it along. We got like 10 minutes left, 11 minutes left, and I want to get some points off. Do you have any for the upcoming holiday season? What stocks do you think are going to do well?
Well, in terms of like picking calls and stocks, I look at trends, and right now, once the FDA does the emergency authorization on Pfizer vaccination, I think that the leisure stocks such as cruise ships and airlines were going for a beat, you know. So that's something that's in the middle to late December, so that's around holiday season. So leisure stocks I think are going to do well, and around January the 5th, the Senate runoff election in Georgia, I think that if the Democrats win all Senate seats, his solar stocks are going to be awkward because chances of Biden passing his green agenda is going to be much higher than it would be if the Democrats only had 48, 49 Senate seats. So that's something to look out for in early January.
That's definitely a good point.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like we were going to talk about
last week.
The vaccine, the first COVID immunization could come December 12th. So I do feel like your hospitality stocks, the travel, and the biotech can, have an uptrend.
And that's
we have seen every time they announce hey, you're 95, 90%. Your cruise line stocks, your airlines, they take a run up. Like
And that's what and I have a couple long-term calls on those because like we said, every time that there's an announcement, those things kind of run up. So if it's cheap right now, go ahead.
It's also worth noting, the last 2 weeks, when those two companies said, oh, we are 90 and 95% of basic rate. So the leases stopped well for the day, but the next day and the rest of the week, sales on a downward trend. But I think that's going to change once there's actually authorization by the FDA. I think it's going to be an upward trend from there. A more sustainable upward trend.
Yeah, and I think that too. As soon as they actually approve somebody to kind of push out that vaccine, because like right now we're just getting people announcing that they have a 95% rate of, that we're just getting that, but nobody's getting the FDIC approval.
The FDA.
Yeah, FDA.
My
My
bad.
bad. I'm talking about food. My bad. FDA.
Food, drug, administration. You talk about a bank.
Hey, my bad. But yeah,
Alright.
I need that approval.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Now, I don't know who's gonna take the vaccine, but the approval will be out, We'll see who take the vaccine, I'm not, but, So,
Yeah, I had to wait a few months after.
yeah, let's wait for the first batch.
Well, the first batch is gonna go to like first responders and all that.
Hey,
anyway,
well,
so-
sometimes
so-
you have to let people experiment first.
Yeah, it'll be a while
See what the
before.
long-term effects are.
It'll be a while before it comes to the general public.
But that's good, cause I'm
Yeah.
not eager.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, this is not Tuskegee. Okay, so the IPO, everybody's waiting for Airbnb. IPO is supposed to come out before the end of the year. They just got approval Monday. To go trade. Do you think it's a buy?
I gotta see the price.
Would you buy now? Yeah, I'm all about prices.
Yeah,
I won't
I'm
know
about
for sure until I see a price.
Yeah, I gotta see
price
that price.
tag.
And then if it, like what typically happens is, we all see it. When you try to get in, it keeps on going up, and then, so I try to let those IPO breathe.
Hey, there was one IPO that I'm very thankful did not have a high price target, and it's paid off.
Did that?
Pelleter.
Oh yeah.
That IPO was in October, and it wasn't high at all.
But it did breathe though. It
Yeah.
did take a breather, right?
In October.
Yeah.
And then come November, it went back in.
It's killing it now.
Yeah.
It's killing it
So
now.
I'm really loving that. Okay. So would you say buy or sell, or it depends on price for you, Preston? For Airbnb, would you consider buying the stock?
Trade said, I'm going to teach it, like when IPO, the cook, you was trying to get their money out of run, so on normal people, I think it's best that we wait to see what direction it heads in, but I'm going to stay away from it for a little while,
I feel you. Okay, so we just want to say, give a shout out to Giovanni. We had 42 people join his training yesterday. He did a training on options, so thank you, Giovanni, for giving the people what they asked for. And when it's uploaded, we will be sure to tag those who are looking forward to the training but was unable to make it.
Yeah.
So we
Did you
really
make it?
appreciate it. I was actually doing family day with the
Well,
children.
like that, and
But I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I do too, and I can't wait till he uploads that because I actually was, having these 1-year-old kid twins, they'll let you sit down.
I got a 2-year-old.
Oh, yeah, I know
a
him.
7-year-old.
Yeah.
That keep me busy. So
Yeah.
it was family day for them.
Okay.
At least I can give them that.
But look, we skipped one. Like, okay, so Roblox, right? They
Roblox.
filed their paperwork. It's not officially Apple.
Oh, Roblox gonna go IPO?
They filed their
That
paperwork. But look, if you have a little kid that's like
Everybody got a
5,
child.
yeah.
My teenager like Roblox.
So looking at it, like the average time is over 2 hours per day of kids on Roblox.
I can believe it because my child will be on Roblox and her computer all day.
All day.
You have to tell her to stop.
See,
Get off her.
that's a nice number, right? Do she ask you to buy stuff for Roblox?
She called it daddy.
She
You call it daddy.
But yeah, I think that's a great mark. That's one that I definitely want to keep an eye out on if it does.
Yeah, I think, anything that the children is interested in, as parents, we bind.
Yeah.
Even if it means like, a breather from us. That's all it is. Like, get this game system and call chill.
So did you get a PS5?
No.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not saying no now. If he like, he wants to buy it, then he can buy it. I'm not buying it. But I'm. Okay, so hydrogen cars. What do you guys think about the hydrogen cars? There was a link posted a couple of days ago on the group.
I gotta look more up on that because hydrogen cars. So how do we get the hydrogen?
Okay, we're not still over at
How do we get I'm very interested. How do we get the hydrogen? So when we're out of hydrogen, how do we go get that?
Okay. All right. Did anyone buy the dip for Fastly? Fastly dip last month, and it's been slowly making its way. I didn't buy the dip. I wish I did, but I do know people in the group, like I believe it was Michael Acosta. He's a Fastly, and I know he got in on the dip. Did you get in on the dip, Preston?
I bought it. I bought a few calls. You talking about this?
Fastly. The ticker is FSLY.
Yeah, I bought a few calls.
Brought a few calls. Were they profitable?
Yeah, I'm holding on to them.
Okay, they profitable.
Okay, my man making money. I like it.
Right, we got like down to 2 minutes.
So we got 2 minutes left. Any surprising stocks in your portfolio? What's your surprise stock?
ADP.
ADT? The alarm?
ADP.
ADP? You talking payroll?
No, like the security company.
Oh, ADT.
Oh, yeah, that's what.
Okay,
yeah,
I had ADT and I was
Oh,
kind of
that
upset
is
with them and I
killing
got rid of it. So what is it now?
It's killing it. Like
Really?
the last 6
Don't
months.
tell me that. I'm mad.
It's at 171. So the lowest
Shut
is.
up.
So look at this chart. That's the last 6 months. Yeah.
Okay.
Most of my portfolio is clean energy, and but I'm trying to venture into other avenues. Like I bought some Delta calls, because I know one certain catalyst are meant that the leisure industry is gonna go to the roof, and I bought some more marijuana stock, because I know it's gonna come a time when they soar again, So
Yeah, them cannabis stocks. Yeah, and prior to this election, I would stay I was preaching stay away from cannabis stocks because we couldn't see it being federally passed. So they were very volatile. But now that the elect president wants make it legal, I can definitely see cannabis stocks running up. But the problem is there's so many of them.
So
Which cannabis stock do you have that you're holding on to?
It's very volatile. I have some sundial calls, and I have some canopy, and aura.
what I will say though is, just Biden has not said anything about making it illegal. He said decriminalizing it, right?
Hey, well, if you're going to
So,
decriminalize it, he's going to
not
sign
letting-
for record.
But he not letting you sell it though, legally. So you gotta wait, y'all. We jumping the gun. I think we jumping the gun a little bit.
There's
But
so much going on that could be next in
That
line.
could
But
be.
right now, he's dealing with so much that how much can he say right now? But we got a pandemic on our hands.
I'll wait.
But don't be first and don't be last.
Yeah. Hey, but I will say, in June, I kind of told people.
Alright.
Oh yeah. My surprise stock is Under Armour. It was killing. It's over
Mine
100%.
is Pinterest.
Okay.
Yes.
But that ain't no surprise. We knew that.
That is my baby, and I'm hoping it's not a right pop. But see, so to the group, any questions that you have, we will get back with you online. Just post your questions.
Yeah. Y'all have a great
Thank
evening.
you so much for tuning in today.
All right. Thanks, Preston. We definitely appreciate it, man.
Oh, you're welcome.
Alright, we gonna catch you in the group, my brother.
All right.
Have a great night. Thank
You're welcome. You got a phone?
you.
It look different. Case.
Nah, same case. That shit, the Android glisten. I'm just kidding. Oh. Fine, man. You got the shirt tucked in, man. Where you coming from,
You
bro?
going on a date day?
No.
You done got eggs.
Got the polo hat.
No, I went to a little event today.
Oh, you
Oh,
did?
that's, oh, you coming from the date day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like a little daytime live band.
I know that's right. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, he wanted the radio station to come out and support, so we did.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, y'all got to catch him. He do grown sex to 25 and up.
Where's
Every
it
time
at?
he do some Duns Rover,
You
he
have to,
always do a live band. Always.
I need to check that out. And what time do it usually start?
Noon to 6.
Oh yeah, that could be like the day party before the radio show.
Hey, look, man. Hey, when you doing that, man, that's a whole day event. But when you start doing them day parties and
Oh,
drinking
no.
early,
Yes.
well, you be wanting to go to sleep afterwards.
Yes.